Luke Jacobz, thanks for talking with MolksTVTalk.
Thank you very much for having me.
Luke, your career has been somewhat of an onion in that it's layered quite nicely to this point. People would most likely know you from your role on Home and Away, and that's been, I would expect, a pretty good gift for you.
It's been great, yeah.
Your time in Summer Bay, it hasn't been the easiest as a character goes. What do you think has been the highlight for you?
Oh, look, I think I was supposed to be in there for 5 months. I was only supposed to be there to kill off another character, and they said, you know, which was great, which I had fun doing. And then, a few months later, they asked if I wanted to come back for a couple of years, which was great. And we got to do a lot of fun stuff, you know, jumping from boat to boat and car chases and fighting scenes and a lot of guns. I mean, I'm a bloke, so I like all the action sort of stuff. And let's face it, Esther Anderson's extremely hot, and I got to kiss her pretty much every day. So I was pretty happy with that. Yes. That was a good point.
Now, in the middle of that, you managed to somehow fit into your day some time on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
And not to be too, light on, you kind of won.
Yeah, I did. It was very last minute. One of the characters, or one of the guys that had signed up to do the show, he pulled out last minute. Someone had told him that it's not the best thing to do for your career and you shouldn't do it, and people will just make fun of you. So I was rung up on So I felt a little bit weird, and I was rung up, and they said, look, we sort of need you, we've got a favour for you, someone's pulled out, would you do this series? And I said, I'm in Adelaide at the moment, I'm driving up tomorrow, so give us a call and let me know if you want me to do it. Rang me the next day and they said, yep, okay, you start tomorrow. So the next day I started, met my dance partner, and then the show started 3 weeks later, so it was very, very last minute. And somehow I paid the right people to vote the right amount of times, and I got through and won. So
I think in no small part, you got connected with one of the best dancers in Australia, in Luda. And to not put too fine a point on it, you had to work really hard, but did a great job. Like you didn't win it just because you kind of danced okay. You guys did a really good job.
Yeah, she's a 5-time world salsa champion. So it's not just a national championship, or it's a big thing, and she's won it 5 times, which is a record. No one's come close to it yet. And she's very dedicated at her work, and she really wants to win. She was in the finals 3 times, and she never won it before. So I sort of said, all right, well, if we're going to do this, let's do it. And we put in extra hours. And I had about 6 weeks where I was living on 5 hours at home a night, and that was to learn scripts for the next day, to sleep and to have dinner. So I was living on very little sleep. But I think the motivation was her. She's Russian and she's crazy, so she would push me to do that sort of stuff. And if I didn't turn up, or if I didn't give 100%, I'd usually get slapped or something like that. So, but no, it was really good. And I mean, to get to the end and to win it, that was a really big relief. But I know with Danny and Paul, the 2 other guys who were in the finals, they got to the whole stage but didn't have the payoff that I did. So it's it was a huge relief to actually win it. But I mean, 2 days afterwards, after we settled down from the actual adrenaline of winning and then the party and that sort of stuff, and you just find that your day turns into nothing, because before that it was waking up every day, go to work, shoot all your scenes for 12 hours, and then you go somewhere, fit in a 10-minute dinner break, and then train for 4 hours. The next day you don't have anything to do, and you sort of go to this really low point, because you think, well, I don't have anything to do today. So you've really got to sort of be focused and determined to give yourself a bit of motivation to get up in the mornings and to do something. So I mean, that's where exercise and that sort of stuff comes into it. So I had a bit of a low point for about a week, but I think that was just relaxing and doing nothing, watched a lot of TV, and then sort of got back into a routine again. But it was definitely, that was probably one of the highlights of my career, I think.
And in line with that, Channel 7 went to you, we need someone to come on Dancing with the Stars. You've become Channel 7's go-to guy.
That sort of seems that way.
X Factor last year, that was, let's be fair, it was a bit of a surprise that we needed to get someone to fill it. And you more than capably filled that role, I think. You were an excellent host. The audience responded well, the judges responded well, and look, in that scenario, my view on it is that the host and the judges need to play off each other really well. Otherwise you're going to get, it's not an American Idol scenario where you can have Seacrest bitching at Cal. You've got to play nice something.
Yes, exactly.
Did you find that because they were coming together. It was a bit of a new thing. They were prepared for someone else. They seemed pretty open to you coming into that.
Look, I think they did. I mean, because for them too, it was their job on the line as well. And if it sort of came across uncomfortable, then people would find it uncomfortable to watch. So they sort of had the opinion of, well, we know this show needs to get going, and there was a bit of a hiccup with coming in quite late. I got offered the job 2 weeks before we went live, and I had to meet all of the judges. I'd met Guy before, and I'd spoken to Kyle a few times on the radio, but I'd never met Ronan, I'd never met Nat before. So for me, that was nerve-wracking. I hadn't met the top 12, so I didn't know any of those guys. So it was very much a last-minute thing. I hadn't actually auditioned for the job in the first place. When they rang me, they said, look, you want to be the host of the show. I said, oh look, I'd love to. I've never actually been offered a job apart from Dancing with the Stars without auditioning. So getting the job, they were. I mean, the first 2 weeks they were all quite nice to us, to me, and the judges and the contestants were great to me. But then as we got in there, they went, okay, well, let's make this show interesting. So that's when we could sort of have a little bit of banter. Yeah. But we had to sort of powder puff it a little bit at the start, just to make it all nice and soft, and so that people watching it found it comfortable. Yeah. But I mean, the first night I told Kyle Sandlands to shut up, which was really bizarre, and I was like, why did I do that? The one guy that you don't get on the bad side of. But we got along really well, and I mean, as I did with all the judges. So that was a push as well, because it's live TV, and usually you have a few months to say, okay, I'm doing this now, when you prepare yourself. But I had 14 days, and I was going to be up there, so we had to do all the voiceovers and then wardrobe and rehearsals, and I had to find out what the show was about and the history and all that sort of stuff. But it was
new ads.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a phone call on the Sunday night, and we shot the ad on the Monday, and it was out on Monday night. So it was the fastest commercial turnaround that I've ever done in my entire career. I've done ads that I've shot and that's come out 5-6 months later. Yeah. This one came out 5 or 6 hours later. So it was a very quick process.
X Factor is back for 2011. You're hosting again.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you're in Brisbane at the moment, because we've got auditions tomorrow on the Gold Coast.
Yes. Yep.
This is the first auditions for this.
Yeah, this is the first call. This is where basically we get the whole lot of the guys that come in. Big, small, tall, short, good, bad. We get everyone to come through, and basically the producers, have a look and find out what's going to be good for the show. And then if you make our cut, then we have the judges, which are still to be announced, to have a look at them, and then we start the actual process.
There's word that one of the judges has been announced. I'm not sure if that's.
Yeah, no, Guy Sebastian. He's definitely signed, and Kyle Sandlands has definitely said he's not doing it. When I spoke to him a few months ago, probably a month ago now, sorry, he said he's not going to be as involved, but he still wants to be a part of the show somehow. So I'm not sure where that's going to come into play. Obviously, we're still waiting to find out who the judges actually are. I'd imagine he'd probably just want to come along and see who's replacing him. That's probably his role.
Have an opinion.
Have an opinion, yeah, as Kyle has to.
Right.
But no, Guy's definitely been confirmed, but no one else has. So, Channel 7 are keeping that very quiet. They're keeping it quiet from me as well, because I have a tendency to slip up.
So we can offer rumours, and we can start our own rumours and say that, for example, Nat Bassingthwaite's coming on as a judge.
Well, and I've also heard George Michael.
Yep.
Which would be crazy. I've heard Brian McFadden and Delta might be coming in, because they think it might be fun to have the couple come on, that sort of stuff. But rumours are great, because I've had rumours spread about me that I didn't even know about as well. I found out that I had a girlfriend this morning, and
awesome.
I don't.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it spreads a real buzz, and people are excited to see what X Factor can bring to our television.
Yep.
It's unique in that it's not just a talent show. We're actually looking at how we can develop and take, in some cases, some fairly raw singing talent and turn that into some world-class.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think the thing is too is getting high-profile judges to come in that they've got a lot to give. I mean, with Guy, he's been on that stage. He's done that exact kind of competition, performing live in front of a judge, having a week to learn a song and that sort of stuff. So to have that sort of those sort of lessons from these judges. Is it's a really fast track to becoming what is good to becoming amazing. When Altian got through last year, thought, I don't want to be part of this show. He doesn't know the words. And I was embarrassed. I said to the producers, are we serious? Why are we doing it? And the producer said to me, he's going to be the guy that either gets kicked out first week or he'll win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And after the first week, Greg, the producer, came up to me and he goes, he didn't get kicked out. I said, no. And he goes, he's going to win the whole thing. I said, oh, all right, we'll see. We'll see. I don't think so. And then he did, you know. And, but I think that's a lot to show for Ronan as well, because he would spend a lot of time with his guys, you know. So, and the thing is too, is it's the judges now, you know, realise whoever's going to come on, they know that the show is, they're going to go, okay, this is a competition between the judges just as much. Because Ronan, he's got the bragging rights. Whether he does this series or not, he's going to go around and say, I've done one series of X Factor and I won, you know. So that people like bragging about winning things. So I think that he's probably going to want to do that. So, you know.
Got 2 more quick questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will, and you may not know, but will we see the Extra Factor come back this year?
I don't know yet. I haven't actually heard. I mean, we knew it was part of the contract for the first series that it had to be. That was part of, you know, putting the show in the first place, was that we want to do it on 7 and 7 2 have 2 shows.
Which is really smart use of your multi-channel environment.
Absolutely. You know, with 7 having 7 mates, 7 2 and 7, you know, we might be able to have a blokes one as well, so we might have 3.
Hey.
But look, it was one of the things that I know it was a requirement for the first series. So whether it comes on for the second series, I'm not really sure yet. We're still, you know, having some changes with the judges, or with one judge we know of for sure. You know, I think that sort of just put a little bit of confirming everything else back just, you know, 1 or 2 weeks. So I'd imagine we'll find out all of the details within the next 2 weeks.
Look, and it was interesting, you know, Nat Gronzi held herself really well.
She was amazing.
It was at live TV, reasonably speaking. It was a lot of fun, and it gave fans of the show some real insight into the personality of, you know, the contestants, and to speak to the judges and yourself. And I think it was a really good way of connecting the audience through. I mean, not that you're producing the show to go, let's do that, but...
Well, I think the thing is too, is if you know someone a little bit better, you might be more inclined to vote for them a little bit more. You know, you might go, look, their performances aren't the best, but they're really nice, and they're singing from a different part of, you know, they might be singing from their heart, or, you know, there's something else motivating them. And having that show, I mean, we do the packages before they sing, and that's basically how they've trained for that week. But that's not up to the contestant to decide. That's the producers and editors deciding what the audience are going to see. Whereas if on the Extra Factor, people sit down and if Nat asked them a question, it was them on the spot live, and you know, you got that, because I don't have a great deal of time after they've performed to really get to know them. You know, so I think that was really good as a little insight. So you know, look, I thought it was a great show. I hosted one of the nights because Nat was sick, and you know, she's very good. She's very quick on her toes, and you know, she worked very hard, and you know, it'd be great to have that back. And you know, it's up to the network, and I mean, they're keeping everybody on their toes, because I don't know what's going on yet. But I mean, look, we're still months off it going to air, so we're still in the early stages of all the auditions, so we've got plenty of time to get everything sorted.
There's lots of pre-production stuff.
Loads. Yeah, loads.
So last question, you've been in the business for a while now.
Yes.
You've developed from, you know, doing commercials, you've, you know, had some opportunity, developed into roles, scored an action gig, and so on. For people that are coming to audition for this year's season of the X Factor, what can you recommend, apart from obviously bringing their best game, what can you recommend to them to do in preparation, as far as this could be their launching pad from some kid living down the street to having a #1 single?
Look, it's one of those things that if you've actually made the effort to get there, make the effort to be there. You know what I mean? Like, don't sort of get there and go, look, I don't want to be a little bit embarrassed because I might not. If you've got it, just give it, because really, the perfect example is this is a 100% perfect example. Altian didn't, like, you know, it didn't have it all there, but he gave it his all. And then he you know, worked his way through, and he became the best that we had. So, you know, if you don't have it, just fake it and get up there and pretend that you've got it, because then, you know, we might be able to then mould you into whatever it is. And the thing is too, is the judges and myself, we're there for hours and hours and hours. If you can give us something good, you're going to go through, because we're just going to be like, oh, someone that's got that confidence, you know what I mean? So there's a couple of guys that made it through last year to the boot camps and that sort of stuff, and they were fantastic on their first auditions, and they got through, but then that's another stepping stone. So just bring it.
Luke Jacobz, wise words. If you don't have it, fake it.
Yes.
Thanks for talking to MolksTVTalk.
Thank you very much, mate.